WordPress has two main types of content, posts and pages. Understanding the similarities and differences between them is important to create a well-organized site. So what is the difference between a post and a page? Well, posts are what you expect to see anytime you visit a blog or a magazine or a news site. Is those frequently updated items that appear at the top of the front page and also in indexes. So anytime you publish an article or a news item or an opinion or an image or a video, it's usually a post. They're easy to identify because the most recent post always appears at the top and pushes older posts down. Posts are organized by date, author, categories and tags, and sometimes additional taxonomies. This makes it easy for a visitor to navigate your site because they can go in and sort the content based on either a span of dates or who wrote the content or a specific category term or a tag or another taxonomy. Posts usually have comments and social links, and this is what makes the social web and especially WordPress so powerful. In the past, communication on the web was usually one way. You would write content and publish it, and then other people would read it. Now, because of comments and social links, when people read it, they can provide more information. They can take part in the conversation by adding comments, and they can also share your content through social networks and then communicate with other people about the content on social networks. Pages, on the other hand, are usually permanent information. Things like about pages or contact pages. Generally, you'll think of pages as things that inform the visitor about the site rather than the content of the site itself. Pages are organized in parent-child relationships. So you can have a parent page, like an about page, and then you can have several child pages, maybe about each of the authors or other information about the site. You can usually identify parent-child relationships by looking at menus. If you have pages with parent-child relationships, you'll find the parent page in the main menu, and then the drop-down will show you the child relationships, or you'll also see the child relationships indented in sidebar menus. Speaking of menus, pages are usually made available through menus, and there's a good reason for that. Pages don't appear in the blog stream. So unless you provide an actual link to the page, there's no way of getting to it. And the usual place of providing links to pages are either in the main menu, in a sidebar menu, or in the footer. Pages usually don't have comments. I say usually because in some cases, as you'll see in a second, you want to add comments and maybe even social links to certain pages. And you can do that with WordPress because WordPress lets you do whatever you want with the content you publish. To get a better idea of the difference between posts and pages, let's look at a real example. This is my blog, The Scientist Philosophy, and here on the front page you see a list of posts. Here you have the most recent posts, and then as we go down the page you get older and older posts. You can see that each of the posts in my index have the same elements: a title, then information about the author with a link to the author index. You have the date it was posted on, you have the number of comments, you have links to the category or categories that this post is stored under, and you have a link to read more. When I go to the post itself, you'll see here again we have the title and a link to the author index, the comments, and the category. And when I scroll down, we have social links, tag links, information about the author, and then the comments themselves. This makes it easy for a visitor to first read the content, then share the content, and then either participating in the discussion by adding comments, or follow links to other related content by following links to the tag indexes or the category indexes. Now let's look at a page for a comparison. If I go to my About page, you'll see it's quite different. Here all we have is the title and a text and an image. There's no date, there are no categories and no tags, and in this case there's no comments. Now I say in this case because I do have a page on my site that has comments. If I go to the Code of Ethics page, you'll see again, there's just a title on the content. There's no date or author, but here you have the social links. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see there's also comments. And that's because in this case, I wanted people to A, be able to share the content with other people on social media, and B, partake in the discussion through comments. So on this page, I activated comments. You'll also notice that I have a couple of extra links on my main menu here. For example, the tutorials link. If I click on tutorials, you get a category archive of all my tutorials. And this is what's so powerful with WordPress. Once you create categories and tags, you can actually add them into your menus and create navigation based on these categories and tags to drive people to important content on your site. And later in the course, I'll show you how you can do just that. Now, I'm sure you want to know how to decide whether new content should be a post or a page. Well, it's actually quite easy. Think of it this way. If the item should appear on the main menu as a separate item, it's usually a page. If you think the item should appear in the stream and people should be able to comment on it and share it through social media, it's usually a post. Basically, anything about the site or the people that created are pages, anything else are posts.